Today's episode is sponsored by Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers filming in public, interfering, and assault, and is brought to us by the Random Patriots channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Before we dive into the interaction, I want to give a big thanks to the sponsor of this episode, Simply Safe. As September rolls in, many families return to their regular schedules of work and school, leaving empty homes vulnerable to the heightened risk of burglaries that occur in the fall. The good news is that Simply Safe offers a robust solution to keep your home secure during this busy time. My Simply Safe security system gives me peace of mind every time I leave the house, knowing that my family and valuables are being monitored and protected at all times. Simply Safe offers comprehensive security for your entire home with advanced sensors and cameras to detect threats from break-ins to fires, floods, and more. With 24/7 professional monitoring, Simply Safe agents are ready to spring into action to keep you safe, promptly assessing the situation, contacting you, and dispatching first responders to your address, even if you're away or unable to respond. And one of the best parts of Simply Safe's service is that you'll never be locked into a long-term contract, so you can cancel anytime. Simply Safe's pricing is transparent and affordable, starting at less than $1 a day with no hidden fees ever. They even offer Simply Safe's exclusive 24/7 live guard protection, which means that via the Smart Alarm indoor camera, Simply Safe agents can act within 5 seconds of receiving your alarm and even see and speak to intruders in real time, stopping them in their tracks. Right now, you can save 50% on your system, plus a free indoor security camera, and your first month is free when you sign up for core monitoring. Visit simplysafe.com/audit to customize yours. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Thanks again to Simply Safe for sponsoring today's episode. On November 10th, 2023, independent journalist Justin MacHenry, who owns the Random Patriot YouTube channel, joined with the owner of the Auditing Arkansas channel and visited the Hot Springs, Arkansas Police Department to follow up on a recent incident where an officer used force against a group of teenage girls after an alleged littering offense. The encounter that followed was filmed by the auditors.
What's up, man? Nope. Oh, no, I'm good. Is the police station open?
No, it's not. It's a holiday.
It is? That's how everything else was. I wasn't sure.
Yep.
Hell yeah. What are you guys up to?
Where's your straps?
Calls for service.
Just hanging?
Where's your straps?
We don't wear them all.
Yeah,
Officer first class, corporal.
Nice.
Okay.
We just seen you guys film, so which
Oh.
is your right.
Yeah,
We're just
oh,
gonna
yeah.
talk to
Yeah,
you,
just
make
wanna
sure
make sure
everything's
Oh, yeah,
okay.
we're cool. Yeah.
We're taking calls at the police, talking to people, making reports. That's it.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
If
We're just enjoying our day. Yeah, I didn't realize. I was thinking they were going to be closed Monday, not today. So we came up today to hang out, and everything's
Yeah, if
closed.
you come up on Monday, it'll be open up.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks. I don't think I mentioned it. So I'm in Hot Springs, Arkansas right now. I'm with Auditing Arkansas, right behind me. Watch out. And I just had a couple police. They were nice. They just came and asked some questions, and I forgot I wanted to ask them some questions. So I just thought of something I wanted to ask you. If you got a minute, if you're busy, I can come back.
What's up?
So the Halloween incident with the trick-or-treating girls. Whatever happened with all that? Is there charges being pressed against them still?
I don't know the answer.
You don't know anything about that? Were you involved in that at all?
I was, yes.
You showed up? What do you think about it? You think Lieutenant May was in the right for escalating it to that level?
I mean, we're doing our jobs.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I think Lieutenant May was in the wrong. I'm not saying I think everyone else that showed up was in the wrong. They were doing their jobs, but I do think he was in the wrong. What do you think about it?
I mean, we were just doing our jobs.
Do you
so
think he was in the right? Would you? Or let me ask you this:
Okay.
would you have done it the same way?
I couldn't say. I mean, I wasn't in that situation, so I couldn't
You've
say.
seen the video. You should know whether, if someone shows me a job site I've not been on, I'll tell you what I would have done or not would have done. So what would you have done on that job site?
I mean, he encountered somebody that broke the law, and he dealt with the situation. So, I mean, that's all.
So you think if someone's littering, it's okay to escalate it to violence?
I mean, if you have a non-compliant suspect. Okay.
What do you think, brother?
I mean, that's your opinion.
You think people should get beat up for littering?
I prefer not to say.
Huh?
I prefer not to say. I mean,
So referring not to say is kind of saying. I know what you're saying.
I'm not going to say anything against
Yeah.
the lieutenant because it's
Right. That is exactly.
Well,
That's
he's
what's
not my
happening.
lieutenant, so
he's still at range.
that doesn't matter.
just hanging out.
Yep. Do you guys think it's okay to go hands-on with someone for littering? If I threw, and let me ask you this. If I threw a cigarette butt right in front of you right now, would you go hands-on with me?
It's all going to depend on the situation.
Well, in this situation.
All right. What are we doing right now?
Asking you a question.
Okay. Are these other units investigating something right now?
No idea. They came up and talked to us first.
Oh, wait. Well, I'm
And-
sorry. I'd be asking if he was busy.
Okay, if they're investigating or if they're doing something right now, by law, you're interfering in a governmental operation, so y'all need to...
Interfering is a physical act, so asking him a question is not interfering. And I literally...
Sir.
And sir, hold on, let me
That's not
finish.
what I'm
Let me
telling
finish,
you.
and then I'll let you talk. And whenever I walked up here, I asked him specifically, hey, are you busy? Because if you are, I'll come back. And he said, no, what's up? So now we're talking. I didn't just come bombard him. I literally asked him, are you busy and can we talk? And he said yes.
But if
You're
the
not-
units
don't
are here in
threaten
the
us with
parking
a
lot,
arrest.
then they're taking care of an official business.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
That's fine. Okay.
And they came up to me and started talking to me first.
Okay,
And then I
they're
came
probably
in.
wanting to know if you were part of the call that they were up here on.
That was you're doing some more assuming, sir. You're doing some more assuming. I have it all on video.
Citizens
Yeah,
to
yeah,
serve.
go,
Let
go.
me get out of
Yes,
y'all's
sir.
way.
Let me get out of your way.
We don't want to impede or
So-
anything. We just ask questions.
You assumed that when they came up and talked to me is because they thought I was part of the call. All that's
I didn't see the
assuming.
officers talking to
All
you.
that's
I was
assuming.
explaining to you that if they're out here, they're on official business.
Okay.
But if you're
Until
in
they
uniform
can-
in your car, you're on official business.
You're always on official business.
That doesn't necessarily mean I
gentlemen.
can't talk to you.
Are you on
We're-
official
we're
business
finished
right
with
now? So back to my question, if I threw a cigarette down right now in front of everyone here, would you go hands on with me?
I know what this is in reference to,
Yeah.
and I'm going to just tell you like this. Each situation is going to be handled.
Okay, so I'm not talking about that situation, I'm talking about this situation. If I pulled a
Unless
cigarette
you would
butt,
be asked to pick it up.
okay, let's say I didn't pick it up, what happens?
It's still a Class A misdemeanor. You can still go to jail.
Okay, so if I don't pick it up and I walk away,
There's a lot of ifs in life, okay?
Well,
and I'm not going to if this
I'm just
conversation
asking
with
you a few
so
questions.
This conversation is finished.
Okay.
You seem uncomfortable
There's
answering my
one that's not in
questions.
it. What's the Third Amendment to the Constitution?
As far as that, I don't recall right offhand.
And you swore not to uphold the Constitution, did you not? Would you look that up when next time you go in and remember it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Awesome, thank
Now,
you.
Can you quote me all of the Fourth and the Fifth Amendment or the 16th Amendment?
Not by word, but I can
Okay.
tell you what it's about.
I could do most of that, yeah, definitely. What's
All right,
the
we're finished right
what's the
there.
5 elements of the First Amendment? That's an easy one. What's the 5 elements of the First Amendment? I'll give you a
We're
hint.
finished with this conversation.
I'm going to give you a hint
okay?
because I want you to get it right. The acronym is RAPS, R-A-P-P-S.
I'm gonna get out. I'll make sure I'm out of the way.
R-A-P-P-S.
Are conducting an
Okay.
All right, I'm not-
investigation,
I won't
so
bother.
Y'all need to
We'll leave it alone.
move down.
We're good right here.
The area that
I'm
he's
allowed to stand right here.
No, sir, you're not. You're going to have to move from where he's investigating this.
It's not impeding anything.
Sir, this is what I'm fixing to tell you. You're interfering with a governmental operation.
Interfering-
If you do not
interfering
move from right here,
is a-
I'm not going to explain it to you any
Do you have a
further.
lieutenant?
Is this the lady he's working with?
Do you have a lieutenant?
I'm a sergeant.
Do you have a lieutenant sergeant?
I do have a.
Can I get him down here, please?
No.
Because you don't know what you're saying right now.
I can tell you, you need to move.
Interfering is a physical
You
act.
need to move. You
So-
don't know the statute.
So
I'm a sergeant.
do you have a lieutenant
I
sergeant?
do have a.
Can I get him down here, please?
No.
Because you don't know what you're saying right now.
I can tell you, you need to move.
Interfering is a physical
You
act.
need to move. You
So-
don't know the statute.
so-
you need
Hey,
to
that's-
move.
that's assault.
That is assault.
I got it.
You need to move.
Brother, give me my phone and I'm leaving. Give me my
Yeah,
phone.
you're fixing to move.
Okay, give me my phone and I'll
You back up
give
and
me
I
my-
will give you your
Give
phone.
me my phone and I'll leave.
Back
He
up.
just assaulted him in front of you. Are you
Back
going to do
up.
something
Or
about
you're
it?
going to jail.
He didn't assault him.
Brother, give me my phone.
Do you know what the-
So you escalated it to violence, just like you
Yeah,
like I
just
said
like-
you would.
Sergeant Michael Brown orders Mr. MacHenry to move from the sidewalk, and Mr. MacHenry refuses, rotating his phone to center on Sergeant Brown's face. Sergeant Brown responds by grabbing Mr. MacHenry's phone and filming equipment from his hand and holding onto it until Mr. MacHenry took several steps back from where he was standing. The Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Arkansas, concluded in the 2020 case of Chestnut versus Wallace that citizens have the right, quote, to watch police-citizen interactions at a distance and without interfering. In reaching this conclusion, the court noted that, quote, every circuit court to have considered the question has held that a person has the right to record police activity in public, and that, now quoting again, this robust consensus of cases of persuasive authority suggests that if the Constitution protects one who records police activity, then surely it protects one who merely observes it, a necessary prerequisite to recording. Therefore, while the Eighth Circuit has not explicitly held that the First Amendment protects the right to film the police in public, given the favorable reference to decisions in other circuits that have recognized this right, it seems likely that if the Eighth Circuit was asked to rule on the issue, it would determine that filming the police is protected by the First Amendment. In addition to the federal constitutional protections applicable to filming the police, Arkansas has passed state legislation prohibiting officers from interfering with an individual's filming in a public place outside of specific limited sets of circumstances. Section 21-1-106 of the Arkansas Code states that, quote, a public officer or employee shall not prohibit a person from using a recording device in a place that is open to and accessible to the general public unless the act of recording or the location of the recording person presents a risk to the physical safety of anyone present, constitutes an element of a criminal offense, or unreasonably obstructs or inhibits another person's lawful presence or movement, among other limited exceptions. The statute defines the word prohibit to mean, quote, to interfere with the physical operation of a recording device by threat, duress, coercion, direct order, arrest, detention, or use of force. Additionally, the statute forbids officers from seizing or confiscating a recording device carried on or near the person using the recording device, now quoting, unless the recording device appears to be involved in the commission of a crime or unless the seizure is otherwise justified by an exigent circumstance. Here, there is a strong argument that Sergeant Brown's conduct, both in ordering Mr. MacHenry to move from the public sidewalk where he was filming and in grabbing the camera to interrupt his recording, constituted a violation of Section 21-1-106. As Mr. MacHenry was clearly not posing a safety threat to anyone, he was not obstructing anyone's movement or presence, there did not appear to be an exigent circumstance requiring the seizure, and his filming likely did not constitute the element of a crime.
The reason I did, if you will read the statute, you're interfering.
You don't need to read the statute. It's a physical act. It's a physical act. You just screwed up,
It
brother.
does not have to be
You just
physical.
screwed up. You're getting a complaint on your record.
Okay, that's fine.
Go
Legal
ahead.
Complaints. You
But
guys
if
have the
you-
right to complain. Come on, Sergeant. They're just
screwed
trying to
up,
bait.
brother.
They're baiting us. They're baiting us.
Up.
They're trying to get us paycheck. Come on.
Hey, sir, I don't want your paycheck. Promise you, I don't.
All right.
I don't need it.
This is all. You guys can't. If parking spaces in front of entrances. Parking spaces in front of.
You just screwed up, man.
If you're gonna rightfully,
We're gonna stay on the sidewalk.
Get somewhere you can lawfully record. We'll stay on the
sidewalk.
sidewalk.
I can lawfully record right here. Thank you, Captain. You're. Oh, I'm very sorry.
Look, we're not interfering. We're not going to say anything to anybody. We're going to stand here and we're going to be quiet.
You just let your ego get ahead of you, man.
I'm going to stay at.
Sergeant M. Brown, what's your badge number, please?
My badge number is 16.
16.
And if you will read the statute, it does not have to be physical.
It is
It
it?
can be verbal.
No, it can't.
You don't know the law very
I do know it. I know it better than you. You don't even know the First Amendment, brother.
Mr. MacHenry argues that interfering must be a physical act, and Sergeant Brown claims that it can be verbal. According to Section 5-54-104 of the Arkansas Code, quote, a person commits the offense of interference with a law enforcement officer if he or she knowingly employs or threatens to employ physical force against a law enforcement officer engaged in performing his or her official duties. Section 5-54-101 of the Arkansas Code defines physical force as, quote, any bodily impact, restraint, or confinement, or the threat of bodily impact, restraint, or confinement. Therefore, while the statute does recognize that verbal threats of physical force may constitute interference, merely distracting or interrupting an officer verbally would not rise to the level of interference. And in this situation, Mr. MacHenry was clearly not making any threats. However, under Section 5-54-102 of the Arkansas Code, quote, a person commits the offense of obstructing governmental operations if the person knowingly obstructs, impairs, or hinders the performance of any governmental function. The statute specifically clarifies that, quote, obstructing governmental operations by using or threatening to use physical force is a Class A misdemeanor, whereas the offense is, quote-unquote, otherwise a Class C misdemeanor. Accordingly, unlike the interfering statute, the obstructing statute does allow for convictions based on non-physical conduct, conduct or the refusal to comply with a lawful order under certain circumstances. It is possible that Sergeant Brown was thinking of the obstructing statute rather than the interfering statute during this interaction, and in his report regarding the encounter, Sergeant Brown stated that, quote, "I informed both subjects that they could be charged with obstructing a governmental operation if they did not comply," despite the fact that the body camera footage shows that he repeatedly argued that the auditors were interfering.
Okay, if they're investigating or if they're doing something right now, by law, you're interfering in a governmental operation, so y'all need to...
Interfering is a physical act, so asking him a question is not interfering.
Sir, this is what I'm fixing to tell you. You're interfering with a governmental operation.
Interfering,
if you do not
interfering
move from right here. I'm not going to explain it to you any
Do you have a
further.
lieutenant?
However, it is also improbable that a court would conclude that Mr. MacHenry's conduct in asking the officers questions after asking if they were busy and receiving a negative response and filming the officers from a comfortable distance constituted obstruction. Additionally, Section 5-54-102 specifically states that the statute does not apply to, quote, obstruction, impairment, or hindrance of what a person reasonably believes is a public servant's unlawful action. As such, Mr. MacHenry would have a strong argument that he could not be convicted for obstructing for refusing to comply with Sergeant Brown's potentially unlawful order that he step even further away from the police cruiser, particularly in light of the Arkansas statute we discussed earlier in this episode that prohibits officers from interfering with the right to film.
Can I ask you, other than quizzing us, just here to...
I was actually just coming to talk and ask questions, and then he came up and started shit with me. I was like, me and them were having a really cool conversation, being really polite. There was no anything until he came up. The sergeant came up and was the worst one on scene was the sergeant.
I said if they're here, they're doing an official investigation, you need to be back
Do you have a complaint form on you? Can I do it right now?
You can do a complaint.
Can I do it right now?
Normally, this is what I do.
Could you get me one, man? Like, I'm asking you, please. Yes, please.
It may be something that has to be done Monday, or when a lieutenant's on duty. I don't believe that there's a lieutenant there.
There's not a lieutenant on duty that you could call for me?
No, there's not. Our lieutenant leaves at 2 o'clock, and the last one left at 3.
You just broke my... He broke my property, by the way.
I saw him do it. I got it on video.
Yeah.
You did it. That was assault.
That's assault.
Underwater touching is assault. And you, Corporal, you're scared to do anything to your sergeant.
Yeah. You need to stand up and do what's right, brother. Don't just go along with it because he's your sergeant.
That's Hot Springs Police Department.
Hey, Lieutenant. Hey, how are you?
Yes. That's a you as well. I'm not here to start anything. We were literally here talking to a couple police officers who came up to us first. I came back to talk to them, asked them politely if you were busy. They said, if you're busy, I'll come back. When you're not, he said, no, what's up? So me and him were having just a normal conversation, and then Sergeant, I already forgot his name, he came up and started escalating with me immediately, saying I was interfering, I don't need to be talking to him, and I told him he was assuming things. I already asked him if he was busy or not. Well, anyways, he wants us out of here, so we get up on the sidewalk, away from everything, and he immediately gets on my face, grabs my phone out of my hand, breaks
Snatches it.
this in half, and gets in my face and starts walking me back, saying that I'm going to go to jail for standing here filming.
Well, I think from what he was telling me, that the guys were here on official business and they were trying to answer calls for service, and y'all were filming that. And he was just, from what he told me, that he just asked you guys, don't interrupt their official business. Don't interrupt. I'm just talking. Okay. But anyway, he just said that they were trying to do official business, and by you guys being up in their business, he just asked you to step away from them while they do their official.
And we
business.
did immediately.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
Then he took my phone and broke it, and got in my face and threatened to arrest if I don't leave the premises.
Yeah, threatened to arrest us both.
I mean, I don't know what transpired to provoke that either
You got
way.
an obvious break.
I mean,
equipment here.
my stuff's broken, and we got it on film.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we're
on
obviously
film. You guys are on film just as well.
we're
We have
obviously
body
not
cameras.
lying. So
we filmed the same thing.
So are you kind of in the, like, what's your stance on all this?
Well, until I see a video of otherwise, I mean, it's just.
So you're just going to take his word over ours?
It's not, you have a video and he has a video. I'd like to go look at both of those.
I'd like to file a complaint on him, please.
For
assault
So,
come on.
and battery.
yeah.
Really?
I have broken bro.
He reached out.
Right, but I think, don't you think that's a little...
No, I do not.
Really?
Don't you think he
If I would've did
took
that
it a little
to him,
far?
what do you think would've
Yeah,
happened?
okay,
All right.
let's say I get in your face and I grab your camera and break
That's
it.
not gonna
What do you?
happen.
Am I going to go to jail for that?
Yes,
Yes. So why isn't he? So he needs to go to jail
Because
too.
we're the police. You just can't...
Exactly. So that's my whole point. Is you think you're better than us and you can get away with
No,
shit that I
you-
can't get
see,
away with.
No, you think you're better than us because...
No, I don't.
Listen,
I was
stop
talking to dude like a normal
interrupting me.
person.
Stop interrupting
You're
me.
crazy, brother. This is
See,
crazy.
So you're not listening to me.
No, because you're taking their side.
Nobody.
Let him
All right,
listen,
so
let him-
here's the side, okay? You can come here Monday. The captain will be here. You're more than welcome talking to her.
This is
Captain
Hot Springs
King,
Police Department.
Hot Springs Police Department.
Trash.
Why would you go and say?
Because that's what you're acting.
Nobody.
I just got assaulted and you're
No,
taking
you
his
didn't.
side.
You didn't get assaulted.
I absolutely did.
What is assault?
Any unwanted touching,
Yes.
You,
according to statute.
and what do you think that he did?
He reached out, snatched the phone out of his hand.
After what? After he told him to
After
step back?
I backed up.
Did he tell you to step back?
And I did.
And then what did you do after that?
And I kept backing up wherever he
That's
told
not
me
what you're
to.
saying. And you won't let me go look at the video to say
Go
otherwise.
look at it. I'll wait. I'll wait.
Okay.
Or you want me to show you? I got it.
If you have it, let's see it.
Mr. MacHenry alleges that Sergeant Brown assaulted him by grabbing his phone and breaking his equipment. Under Section 5-13-206 of the Arkansas Code, quote, a person commits assault in the second degree if he or she recklessly engages in conduct that creates a substantial risk of physical injury to another person. And Section 5-13-207 states that, quote, a person commits assault in the third degree if he or she purposely creates apprehension of imminent physical injury in another person. Accordingly, grabbing someone's property out of their hand could potentially constitute assault under Arkansas law if the action caused them to reasonably fear for their safety, or a court concluded that the act of grabbing created a substantial risk of physical injury. However, because Section 5-1-102 of the Arkansas Code defines physical injury as, quote, the impairment of physical condition, infliction of substantial pain, or infliction of bruising, swelling, or a visible mark associated with physical trauma, it seems more likely that Sergeant Brown's actions would align with the elements of a so-called criminal mischief charge. According to Section 5-38-204 of the Arkansas Code, quote, a person commits criminal mischief in the second degree if the person recklessly destroys or damages any property of another person. Therefore, if a court concluded that Sergeant Brown acted recklessly in damaging Mr. MacHenry's property, he could potentially be convicted of criminal mischief for his actions.
Here, his will be a better view.
I'll see if I can rewind this.
I don't appreciate you calling us trash.
Well, I don't appreciate being assaulted and you're laughing at me about it.
Nobody.
I came up here, dude, me and those
What
first...
time did anybody laugh?
You just did. I have it on camera too. Do you want to watch you laughing?
laughed?
Do you want to watch you
I laughed
laughing?
that you were saying that you
Did
were
he laugh?
assaulted.
Yeah.
So now we got two. Yes, you did laugh. I have it on film. Do you want to watch you laughing at me saying I was assaulted?
Did you find it?
Well, it's going to take a minute.
I got time.
We were having a very good conversation, very positive. Nobody was like mad that I was talking to them. It was a fine conversation until Sergeant walks up. Then he immediately escalates the entire thing. And no one's even getting in his face. Like, we are backing up doing what he's saying, and then he still grabs my phone out of my hand and breaks it because I'm not leaving the entire premises. I don't have to leave the entire premises. I don't. Well, that's what he broke my phone over and threatened arrest on me for. That's illegal too. You can't threaten arrest for something that's not illegal. You can't go around saying I'm going to arrest you if you don't leave here.
You can, but
Yes,
you
you
won't go to
can.
court.
No, you can't.
It's private property. If he says
This isn't private property.
No, I'm saying they can't. You said they can't say that. Yes, they can.
If
On
it's private, that's
property,
not
and
this
somebody has asked you to
circumstance.
leave,
That's
you have
not
to
this
leave.
circumstance. This circumstance is
Yes,
public.
I'm getting close.
This is public property.
How's this actually operate?
So you hold it like this, and that attaches right there.
Oh,
See,
okay.
that's broken.
That is broken. Yes, I do see where that is broken.
I'm not going to pretend it was $100 or anything. It was literally $15 at Walmart.
Yeah.
If I could get my money to replace that and an apology, I would love to shake his hand and just be out of here.
No complaints with A.
That's entirely up to Sergeant Brown if he would like to do that. I mean, I think that we all learned a little bit from this incident, and I think we can all be a little bit better in how we do it. Like I discussed with you about,
Yes, sir.
you know, letting somebody disengage and not trying to re-engage and try to make them, you know, look bad in front of folks. So that's
I'm not, I don't mean to argue, but I promise you, I wasn't trying to, if he knew the answer, then he doesn't look bad. I didn't know he didn't know the answer. Me and the other cops were having a really good conversation.
You were, I saw that.
And then he came and escalated it by assuming a bunch of things he didn't know. And then now me and him are kind of having a not so good conversation. And that's where that tone came from, because he came in with a bunch of assumptions that he had no idea about, that I was bombarding those cops and I wouldn't leave them alone, when literally you saw me ask if you're busy or not, and I'll come back if you are.
I did see
and
that.
so he assumed a bunch of stuff, and now me and him are arguing because he's assuming stuff, and I'm still trying to give him an easy question.
Well, right now we've gotten through that, right? You understand where he's coming from.
So far, we'll see how it goes. Yes.
He understands where you're coming from, right? And we're all going to learn, and we're going to try to be better, right?
Definitely.
And like I said, just try to understand what I talked to you about with that space, and respecting when somebody says hey, and when they try to disengage. Okay, now Sergeant Brown wants to take care of that. That is entirely up to you all. If you want to press anything further, you are more than welcome to as well. Okay?
Well, an apology and a handshake's good for me.
I don't do many handshakes. I'll do a fist bump or something. But as far as what I was trying to explain to you, interfering with a governmental operation is not always physical. It can be refusing to comply with a lawful command.
And that wasn't a lawful command. That wasn't a lawful command for me to get off the public, this public property right here. I was well away from everything that was happening.
I'm just trying to explain to you what he's
Well,
trying to tell you.
he needs to just be more chill with the public and not try to force your authority over everybody because they said something you didn't like.
Hold on.
That's what happened.
I know, but stop.
That
right
is what
there. I
happened.
know, okay, but listen. See, instead of just saying stop doing this and stop, throwing your authority, why don't you say, hey, I think you could have come at me a little different.
Why aren't you saying that to him?
Because you're the one that's saying
No,
it.
he's the one that escalated it.
I'm trying to
No,
help.
no, I'm not done. No, whenever he came up to me, he is the one that escalated everything. Why aren't you telling him, hey, when you talk to the public, you could say it a lot nicer. You could do this, you could do that. You're not doing any of that. You're doing it to me.
He was just fixing,
to your professional sergeant.
He was just fixing to apologize, and then you told him how he should come at you, and that
No,
he should.
well, no, he wanted to justify his actions before he apologized. So instead of apologizing, he started on a rant about how he was justified doing what he was doing, instead of just saying, sorry, brother.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
I apologize if I made you feel uncomfortable.
What about my equipment?
We will address that.
Do you apologize for breaking my equipment and getting in my face?
As far as being in the face, you had your camera within 12 inches or less.
You walked up to me. I didn't move,
All right,
brother.
we're done.
You got in my face. It's on camera you getting in my face. And that is why I call Hot Springs Police Department trash. Because you could have just apologized and we could be cool, but you would rather hold your ego in your pants and walk in the police station. Can I get a complaint form, Lieutenant? Can I get a complaint form?
Yes, hang by.
Thank you.
Just fill this out here. Bring it back up here. Just leave this top part. This is what we'll fill out. But you'll need the top of complaint, and then fill out all your information. This is the affidavit part, okay?
10-4.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Appreciate you. You guys have a good day.
Badge number 14.
14.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
According to an update video that Mr. MacHenry posted on his YouTube channel, he filed a complaint against Sergeant Brown and a claim against the city for his broken property. In a letter to Mr. MacHenry dated November 28, 2023, Chief William Hervatine responded to the complaint, indicating that the incident was reviewed by administrative staff and that, now quoting, "We feel that Sergeant Brown's actions during his interaction with you fell short of the expectations we have for all of our officers in regard to professionalism and courtesy with the public." The letter also stated that Sergeant Brown was given, quote, "official disciplinary action, which will become a permanent matter of record within his personnel file," and that Sergeant Brown received, quote, "further guidance on citizens' rights to film, occupy public spaces, and how to better handle situations such as these in the future." However, the exact nature of the disciplinary action taken against Sergeant Brown was not disclosed. Mr. MacHenry also reported that the city reimbursed him $23 for his broken equipment. I have included a link to the Mr. MacHenry's update videos in the description down below if you'd like to learn more, as they include commentary from Mr. MacHenry, along with body camera footage from the encounter and audio from a meeting the auditors had with the chief of police when they submitted their complaints. Overall, Sergeant Brown gets an F for maintaining an aggressive and hostile demeanor throughout the encounter, interfering with Mr. MacHenry's First Amendment right to film, damaging his personal property, and demonstrating misunderstandings regarding Arkansas law. Section 21 7-1-106 of the Arkansas Code, the state statute that protects the right to film in public, clearly delineates the situations in which officers may prohibit individuals from filming in a public place and seize recording devices. And it is unclear whether Sergeant Brown was even aware of this statute's existence, as he made no mention of it and likely violated it through his verbal and physical attempts to restrict Mr. MacHenry's filming. That being said, Sergeant Brown did show some potential for positive growth, such as when he agreed to read the constitutional amendment he did not know, and I hope that the disciplinary action and education that he received as a result of this encounter will better prepare him for future interactions with auditors and other citizens who are exercising their right to film. Mr. MacHenry gets an A for maintaining a relatively polite and respectful demeanor throughout the encounter, vigorously defending his First Amendment rights, and confronting Sergeant Brown for his actions that likely overstepped his legal authority. While I do believe that Lieutenant Patrick's suggestions for interacting with officers in less antagonistic ways have some validity, Mr. MacHenry remained well within his First Amendment rights throughout the encounter and did not take any actions to physically provoke any of the officers involved. We have featured Mr. MacHenry in several previous episodes of ATA, and I've included links to these episodes in the description for the video if you're interested in watching more. Notably, Mr. MacHenry also received A's for his conduct in the 2 prior encounters we covered, which speaks to his strength and consistency as an auditor. I commend Mr. MacHenry for his ongoing commitment to defending the Constitution and encourage him to continue with his auditing efforts. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.